This game is absolute hell, and I love it. Welcome to Game Overlook, my name is Sam, and today we're going to be taking a look at the newly released Hades from Supergiant Games, the talented team behind Bastion and Transistor. Supergiant Games are known for their small but truly unique and brilliant experiences that they bring to players all around the globe. Bastion had a wonderful isometric world, excellent art style, fantastic action combat, and an amazing soundtrack to top it all off. Transistor had all of this and then some, with great story, ever greater music, and new battle mechanics that freshened it up and made it an even better experience. So now we arrive at the full release of the team's newest game, Hades. As the name might suggest, this game is set in the underworld of Greek mythology, allowing you to see all manner of deathly locations and characters, as well as the demons to follow. Fight your way through hell in this roguelike dungeon crawler and obtain all new abilities along the way. I absolutely loved Bastion and Transistor, and I went into Hades with high hopes, but my expectations were blown out of the water faster than I could have imagined. Overall, this may just be my favourite game from Supergiant yet. As the prince son of Lord Hades, you take the role of Zagreus, a young adult who is not too keen on the idea of living out eternity in the realm of his father. Zagreus constantly attempts to escape the underworld and make it to the surface, but this game and the story are all about trying over and over again. On each death, Zagreus is returned to the House of Hades, where various characters will talk to you, services will be available to you, and further plot will be uncovered. Then head out and try it all over again. The story is honestly worth going in for, with so much character and dialogue worth reading and listening to, with some excellent voice acting alongside it. Build your relationships with the different characters by giving them gifts, and you might just learn more about them and their past. Also make sure to talk to everyone you can upon returning to the House of Hades, as there's pretty much always some new and interesting conversations to be had, and I always found enjoyment in seeking these out. Compared to the previous games, Hades really seems to take a big step in narrative progression, with some amazing characters and personality, and plenty of plot to pull you in all throughout the game. Now for the action. Hades boasts interesting dungeons that are all themed differently, depending on what level you are on. Working in an opposite manner to most, this game will see you fighting your way up the floors in order to reach the surface and leave behind the underworld for good. Things will get harder, enemies will become more deadly, and the bosses are always so much fun to fight, and sometimes converse with. The catch? The dungeon path never remains the same. Not unlike many roguelikes out there, every run in Hades is randomized, with no way of planning your exact strategy. You need to make do with the rooms you get, and what it is that resides within them. This also goes for items, services, and buffs, all of which are never guaranteed. You'll usually have a choice of doors out of a room, each leading to the next along your path. These doors will have symbols on to resemble what the reward for that next room is, so you at least have some choice as to what you go for. On top of this, even boss fights can evolve along the journey. Sometimes Zagreus will say different things when offering up a witty greeting, sure, but often I was genuinely surprised at some of the changes as I played. What I mean by this is some bosses will change as a result of how many times you have passed through them. Similarly, one particular boss was quite tough already, but the next time I got there, they had a friend. Along your run you can also come across Charon, the undead ferryman merchant who will sell you a random set of wares, be it that you have the necessary coin, of which you'll need to gather from rooms that reward coins. As for the buffs, known as boons, these will be brief encounters with images of the gods and goddesses of Olympus, who seemingly wish to help Zagreus in his escape from his evil lord father. As such, they will give a choice of abilities and powers that you can pick, themed after the said god. For example, Zeus would offer lightning boons, whereas Artemis would give critical chances. There are plenty of these characters and boons to obtain, and you are also able to gift things to the gods to gain favours, just as you do with other characters. Also, remember that House of Hades that I mentioned? The lovely little hub where you'll be returning to every time you die? Yep, you can upgrade and customise that as well. At the start of the game it will just be the main hall and your room available, but more will unlock over time. Shortly after, you'll have access to the contractor, who you can pay in a specific currency to implement changes. Whether it be patching up rooms, purchasing new furnishings and services, or just installing some lovely new curtains. It's your choice, and your father Hades will almost certainly have a mutter of judgment on your decision to get that new chair that you'll never use. What really strikes me and puts this game above others of its kind is that it doesn't feel repetitive in ways it shouldn't. Usually, the core of these roguelikes is to make you start over once you die. That's the point of them, and what people love. However, it has to be done right, as it can be easy to make it feel boring or demotivating. Maybe it's just me, but I just have a lot of experiences where this genre started to feel stale. It'd be fun for a while, but I'd drift off onto the next thing. The reason Hades doesn't suffer from this problem, in my opinion, is because the story and world progresses even after death. When you die, that's part of the journey, not a halt. Sure, you'll have to jump back into the fray and fight your way through hell back to where you were again, but things will be different. You'll have the opportunity to talk to more characters, get to know them, and power yourself up with things you found prior. On top of this, the bosses may evolve and things will become more challenging, so you never know just what you're going to be up against. Because of all this, I got addicted to playing Hades and always felt like I was making meaningful progress. The visuals of this game are very similar to that of Bastion and Transistor, with a beautifully drawn isometric world, offering so many varied colours and locations. The perspectives, parallax, and every little detail in each area make for an experience that is a joy to look at. I'll often find myself stepping out of the chaos and action just to stand there and look at the environment. For a game all about wreaking havoc in hell and killing all manner of demons, I wasn't expecting to be so taken by the locations. I knew Bastion and Transistor were stylish and beautiful, but hey, turns out so is the underworld. As for the sound of Hades, I cannot praise it enough. Let's start with the sound design. Everything sounds perfect and effective, from the flame steps of Zagreus to the slashes and clashes of demons. You can also hear the sounds of boiling lava and the long lost spirits of the dead. No matter where you are in the depths of hell, things just always sound great. As for the music, Bastion and Transistor have some of the best soundtracks out there, with the talented Darren Korb and Ashley Barrett at the helm. In Hades, they are back and better than ever. The soundtrack to Hades will win you over as you play, I guarantee it. When you're hacking your way through the waves of enemies and obstacles, the heavily upbeat music will kick in, guitars going crazy. Boss fights are even more so, and you'll find yourself throwing caution to the wind and fighting alongside the beat. Or maybe that's just me, I tend to die a lot. My favourite parts of the soundtrack are the parts in between. The ambient music of each area is beautifully calm and fitting, giving you a break before killing more demons. There are also a couple of vocal tracks sung by Ashley Barrett, and these are easily the best parts of the soundtrack. The songs are all powerful and captivating, and I would expect nothing less knowing how good a job they did with Transistor and Bastion. Playing Hades is addictive, not unlike many roguelikes out there. You want to come back and keep doing better. What really stood out to me though, was that the game keeps progressing and things keep changing as you go on. You get more weapons, meet new characters, and can upgrade yourself along the way. The weapons alone make the experience feel entirely different, and you'll have to tackle everything with a new strategy. Later on you can also upgrade your weapons and unlock even more playstyles. There is also a hard mode for players looking for more challenge. In this mode, things are tougher and you have the choice to make it tougher for yourself still, with optional conditions you can set just before a run. Hard mode can easily become a reason to jump back into the game once you've finished it, trying to push yourself further. And believe me, you'll most likely want to play more and more even after completion. There is so much to do and experience in Hades beyond its initial genre, and it makes it feel so much deeper and worth playing. It takes the beloved roguelike formula and essentially turns it into a narrative RPG. Those who just want to hack and slash are free to do so, but anyone also looking for a worthwhile story and progression to dive into will find it in Hades as well. I'm probably going to continue to recommend Hades to everyone I know, and that's because this game is truly a definitive experience that stands out above all others of its kind. The characters, story, gameplay, and music all blend together to create a game that I'll be very fond of for a long time.